And Petra HD, like I don't even know, like when I first started, I just wanted to... Okay, I'm just gonna do it over again.
That was great.
That was great. I love that for you. Just that.
That was great.
I'm Petra HD and I don't know. Hi, ciao. Okay. Hi, I'm Petra HD.
And I'm Plastic Dynasty.
And prepare to see beneath the wig,
Under the tuck.
and behind the concealer.
Bitch, look at my hair.
So in this episode, Plastica, what are we gonna be talking about in this episode?
We are going to be addressing everything related to drag character. Who's Plastica? Who's Petra? How are we growing as characters? Well, will we grow and this and that? Yeah.
Because drag character is like what you present to the audience, right? Your personality, your mannerisms, how you carry yourself or not carry yourself, you know.
I love being carried.
Me too. Like this, like a baby. Because
You're one big...
Because I am baby.
Yes, a depressed baby.
Yes, babies cry. And I cry too.
So yeah, on the topic of drag character, I'm just gonna dive into it. I'm Plastica Dynasty. How I introduce myself to other people is like I am a polymorphic human woman derived from unknown advanced polymers. What that means is, and I've said this before, that basically every once in a while I get basically a personality crisis, and I want to excite. I like experimenting, changing things up, and this and that. Cookie fish bipolarna ludača.
It's very that.
It's very that, yes. But always stand and professional, so yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I sitting next to?
So I'm Petra HD. And I got my name from the show Charmed. Do you remember Charmed, the three witches? True, Piper, Phoebe, and then the fourth one, Paige. So my idea was to be the fifth witch because this was the first, the original concept of Petra
It's
HD.
like your childhood fantasy.
Yeah, like I wanted to be a witch. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the fifth sister, I'm gonna be something on P, so what's a Slavic name that starts with a P? Petra. Super Petra Halliwell, that's she. She's gonna be a witch. So then as we started House of Dynasty, it was Petra Halliwell Dynasty, and then Miss Babsi Adler was like, well, you can shorten that to HD. And I was like, yeah. And I never wanted to be like that kind of a fish sexy
What's your name?
Vlažana. I just don't see it for myself, you know. I stand those kind of queens like Vlažana, Kvarcna, Plastica.
They're so stunning.
So stunning, and like I love that drag, but it's just like I didn't see it for me. Like I wanted to express something that's kind of more weird. I knew from the beginning when I started doing drag, like I did not want to look like a woman, right? And since I knew nothing about makeup, that was kind of an easy way out because like I knew that I'm not gonna look like a woman.
And it fully worked out.
It did! I think it worked out. And then I started watching like Trixie's makeup tutorials. I was like, okay, let's try doing that. And because my character was always kind of like either stupid or just very like all over the place, very quirky, very weird, a weird presence to begin with, very not taking any shit from anyone.
A weird presence.
Yes! It's like that's what I wanted to embody. So I was like, okay, since I don't know how to do makeup at all, let me check this YouTube tutorial. So I followed Trixie's YouTube tutorial like step by step.
It was very bold of you that you literally started your makeup journey following a Trixie Mattel YouTube tutorial. But that's great.
With shitty products.
With very shitty products, and fully using paintbrushes for like, oh, look at this brush, oh, it's flat. It would work great for this liquid foundation. You know what? Setting powder. We don't know that. Is that flour?
We fully didn't
use setting powder. We never used lashes. Like lashes were questionable, like if we feel like it. But that was very smart of you. Because like, it fully teaches you like this Trixie makeup. Those tutorials, like, they fully teach you the techniques behind it.
Well, I mean that's how I started kind of, because like I said again, like I really didn't know how to use makeup products at all. So I figured like I need this time to figure out the technique And once I figure out the technique, then I can start kind of like experimenting and seeing, okay, so I want to do this kind of makeup. Maybe this move works for me, but like for my nose or for my bone structure, maybe this would work better. And then gradually you kind of come into this, I guess. Now that I like a year and a half later, I can say that I kind of figured out my makeup.
Yes.
But it was a journey. It was a year and a half long journey.
Because like I said, you also kind of have to get to know your face and your bone structure, because like even though you're following on, let's say, a tutorial from person A has a fully different face structure than yours, and those things are not going to work out. There's a lot to do with visuals. The characters have a lot to do with visuals as well.
It's the first thing that people see.
It definitely is.
So when people see me, they immediately know, okay, she is a clown. She is someone who is stupid, someone who is over the top, you know. And when they see Plastica, they see a glamorous fish woman, and they're like, oh, she's a sex goddess, you know.
Yes.
And I think like we both kind of very much came into that.
Yeah, at the same time, like here's you with like this type of makeup, and with your quirky, stupid dragon, this and that, but you're fully at the same time very much a people's queen, and you're very rational and you're very smart, and like I love how like your drag character. I love how that drag character kind of mingles with the look part and builds this one cohesive image of who Petra is. It's the same like me, like I look fish. Let's be realistic. I look fish, and I orient my makeup to be very feminine, exaggerated but feminine, fish, the sharp eyes, because it works for my face. But at the same time, my character, I'm not a fish queen. You know, I'm not like on a, my ring fully fell off. I'm not like one of those queens like on a, oh look, I'm fish, on this and that. I fully have had like stupid performances as well. It's a dance between the two. It takes two to tango, and it's very much these two things. I feel like it's important to kind of shock the audience like that a bit. I mean, basically like that's what I want to portray, because for example, the way where I derive my character from is uncertainty. Because when we started doing drag, I felt like we had to belong in a box. Is she a comedy queen? Is she a fish queen? Is she a theater queen? And I had my struggles at the beginning with it, because I was like, oh, well, I'm not fully like a fish queen, but I look fish. But then again, my performances can sometimes be kooky, and where do I belong? And I just like fully decided to fuck those boxes, you know, like. It's a problem of classifying genders and this and that. We're not gonna do that in drag.
Nope.
Oh no. I started doing drag to escape that. Like with this contrast, I kind of tried to show the audience that like drag can be anything. It doesn't have to belong in a box. With all these mainstream shows, drag shows happening all around us, I feel like that is kind of starting to become an issue.
It is.
And it's going to basically kind of be a problem with people that are starting to do drag. It's gonna fully make them go in their heads and be like, oh, I need to do this to be that type of a queen, and you don't.
Yeah.
I wanna fully abolish that.
That was also kind of like my journey. Like I wanted to be a witch queen, you know, hence the name. But then like as I was doing drag, as I was practicing makeup, as we were having shows, as we were doing performances, practicing, rehearsing, you know, throughout all these months, you kind of realize that like, okay, I can do many different things.
Yep.
And I don't have to like put myself in one specific box of like what kind of queen am I, because at the end of the day, at the beginning, you really don't know anything about anything.
You fully don't know anything about
anything. And
anything.
you should give yourself that time to like, okay, I'm gonna try a lot of things and I'm just gonna see what works.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I'm kind of still at that period where I'm just like trying different things out and seeing what sticks.
Yep. I mean like it's all about growth, and there's always room for growth.
And I love when it grows.
We love a good grower. And a huge tip to all the people that are starting to do drag, stop thinking about who you are. Stop trying to be like, oh, am I a character? Like, oh, what's my character? It's all gonna fall in its own place with time. Just keep on doing it.
Yeah, just do it. That's the biggest thing.
Put yourself out there, because things are gonna fall in their own place. You're gonna see what you like, what you don't like, what works with you, what does not work with you, and even the things that don't work with you are going to teach you a lot. You're gonna take yourself out of a comfort zone. Because like this whole thing about drag character and this and that, what people don't realize is that it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's fully, it's a cycle. The way I imagine it, it's like a life cycle. At the beginning you're born, you're a baby, you don't know what you are, you're just like gathering external stimuli from the world, being like, oh, look at everything, what is this, you know?
What is this brush?
What is this brush?
What is this powder?
So, but then you kind of start doing more and gathering more experience, and then you kind of enter the stage of puberty. You start rebelling. You're rebelling with your own comfort zone, you're rebelling with yourself.
That's a great metaphor.
Yes,
Yes.
totally, I'm still smart.
She is a poetry queen.
I'm so smart. You start to experiment with like everything, and that's how you grow. And then like you kind of start to stabilize your persona. At the same time, your looks are stabilizing, and by doing all of these things, everything kind of grows and synchronizes as you go, and you like basically carve yourself to be the most beautiful vase on the shelf.
Use whatever you see, whatever you find, whatever appeals to you, just take that and use that and just go and do something.
Yes.
And throughout the months, years, eons, decades, in Babsi Adler's case, you're gonna come to something, you know, you're gonna arrive at a conclusion. If you try something out and like it doesn't work out, and maybe you see the video and it doesn't look good, or you don't feel comfortable enough with that, give yourself that chance to say, okay, I failed at this, and it's fine. Maybe this is not for me. Or maybe what you can do is rehearse more, or like think about the concept more. Or you can say, okay, this is not for me, I'm gonna do something else. Just whip up the next page from the book and say like, okay, next chapter, here we go.
If you fully just came into this business, nobody, but absolutely nobody is expecting you to like all of a sudden pop up and be this and that, blah blah blah. Trust me when we say that it's a lot more beautiful to notice a gradual journey towards success and self-accomplishment and growth, rather than just on like forcing something. Yeah, so give yourself the space to do that, because it's very important.
So since we're talking about drag characters in this episode, we have a perfect guest to tell us all about the drag character and how you make it, how you develop it, how you grow it, and how you come into the gorgeous drag queen that you are today. None other than our sister
and our favorite fister.
Babsi Adler! Hey sis!
Hey sis! What's up? Long time no see.
Oh really? So Babsi, tell us a bit about yourself. Who is she?
Well, I am fully eating glitter right now. Babsi Adler. Babsi Adler is the first lady and grandma of the Slovenian new wave drag scene that later also gave birth to you.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
I mean, totally.
I mean, not me, the scene, not the scene.
She totally gave birth to us.
Yeah.
In this episode, we're talking about drag characters and what your character is all about. So why don't you enlighten us and tell us, how did you come up with the character that you do on your shows?
Well, I think that like, for me personally, and I think that is generally like this, nobody really comes up with a perfect plan and a character in the beginning, right?
Because you had quite a journey.
I had a journey.
Yes.
Like, first, I was just a hooker. The cool character was just a hooker, high class escort, sorry.
And now she is a whore.
Now she was promoted to being a
Now
whore.
she's fully the pimp. She's fully pimping us out and not trying to dress it on camera. Hell.
I think I evolved into a demon starlet from Ljubljana's night scene. Because yeah, I also went through many names. I was, my first drag name was Ljubica Janežić,
which is a name.
Which my lovely drag aunt Virginia Immacolata named me. After Grace Jones, I don't know how she came up with Ljubica Janežić. I don't see the connection.
Ljubica, Grace Jones are kind of like here, you know?
And then I was just Luca Scadi for a while. And the first time I used the name Babsi Adler was actually when I introduced myself to you.
Really?
Yes!
Really?
Didn't I tell you that? She's a demon fairy.
Demon Fairy Yokai Witch.
Yes! that
A yokai witch.
the full title.
Yokai Witch, the first lady of the Ljubljana's new wave drag scene, demon
Which I
fairy.
keep repeating because I wanted to be known that I was the first and only one for 5 years, and then like,
She was.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us about that. How it was to do drag like alone.
Alone. Yeah.
Well, it was depressing. No, I had a lot of fun. But I couldn't really do anything I wanted because I was limited to a box in Tiffany's, and that was my stage. but I mainly came to shine in Cabaret Tiffany, which you are also a part of.
Yeah.
And that was basically my beginning with performing. Cabaret Tiffany is actually great for building a drag character because you're different people basically every show. Like you go through, and it's a narrow characterization because you're doing a number or two numbers, and you're specifically fitting the character to that, and it's a good school to build actual character. And yeah, you just commit to it, you commit to the story, and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. Go with it. Go with the flow.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things that involve like the development of your drag character, right? Like the opportunity to be on the stage and perform and try things out.
Yeah.
And see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, of course. And you can always, there's the main character that is like the whole drag queen. But for different numbers, you can try out different facets of that character.
Yeah.
And you can like be a sluttier version of yourself, or I don't know.
A stupider version.
I'm always a slutty version of myself.
She's just a slut. Full
You
point.
can just be like a slut with yourself and have fun.
You can be a slut, you can be a whore, you can be a prostitute, and then you can tap into being
An escort.
an escort. So what would you say is the connection between the visual aspect, because we were talking about fairies and elvens and you know the demons and everything. Like what is the relationship between that, like the visual aspect, and then the character, like the personality of the performer?
I mean, there's a lot visually that you can not do because you don't have money. So maybe tip me my what's my PayPal?
Pepsi Radler.
The visual aspect is primarily very important because you come to life. Your character comes to life when you put on your outfit, whatever that may be.
And it's the first thing people see.
Yeah, of course, and it should immediately make a like impression of who you are.
How dare you just continue talking after shading me like that and pretend like nothing even happened?
She's making an impression.
You're making
a bad impression on our show. Bitch, get out. Get out.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's the first thing people see, and then they should immediately know what you're about. Like not everything, but like they should know, oh, she's a slut. Yeah, it's a process, but ultimately all my looks are basically me now. I have enough hair, I have enough dresses, so I can basically present myself any way I want, and it's always in character. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
But for example, at the beginning, when you didn't maybe have this many wigs and clothes, like how did you, like, did you then like do a character, or was it just like I'm just doing whatever?
I think I was trying to be like really fierce, but in the end it came off like whatever. But everything I put all my heart into the performance, which today I'm all about it.
She's a look queen. So how would you say that your character differs from your voice self?
At this point, I think that Babsi is just a lot louder than my voice self. It's basically the same person because we have the same interests. She's basically my fantasy. But yeah, she's louder, meaner, and she doesn't smile as much awkwardly, which I was told. I didn't know that.
So like, how did all of this and all of this like entire journey of like building your character and becoming your fantasy Babsi Adler, how did it grow you as a person?
Well, drag is basically therapy. Being different people helps you ground yourself, not take yourself that seriously, so you're much more relaxed. Also, obviously, confidence. Like you can, once you're in drag and once you're comfortable in drag, you can also switch it on as a boy. Like you can just, when you need to, you can just pull it together and be that perfect self, like that you created, basically.
This is beautiful. This is drag. I love drag. Look at it.
love
Look at all
drag.
of these ones.
Drag me.
Look at this hair. Look at her hair. You can't sit with us.
For the end, Babsi, do you maybe have any advice for like young drag queens or like young people who are watching us? Any message?
Don't think about it too much. Just get yourself a wig, get yourself the cheapest makeup you can get. Like if you don't have money, just get yourself some makeup, put it on, walk the streets, and people will just be, yes, yes, she has it. Yes. Applause.
Applause in the chats.
Thank you, Babsi Adler.
you.
Our drag hag's sister,
Yes.
our mentor, our best friend.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you so much for coming. It
Thank
was
you for
lovely
having me.
having you. I can't wait to hang out with you after we finish recording this.
Yes.
For a join.
Oh, I love that bitch so much.
Oh, cool.
She's iconic.
Let's pretend she's fully not over there.
She's over there, but we have to say
She's
nice
over there,
things.
but
Oh, I love her.
Let's be like, such a great queen.
Stunning, a great person, a great soul from the inside and the outside. And speaking of outside, let's go outside to check up on our local queens who are mingling on the streets asking people questions.
Yes. I think it's time, Petra. I think it's time to
Hit the road, queen!
A gremo. No, drage dame, cenjeni gospodje, danes je Mednarodni dan kaosa, International Chaos Never Stops Day. Jaz bi mogla se podati na ljubljanske ulice in preveriti med ljudmi, kaj njim pomeni kaos, ampak ker zaradi policijske ure in vseh raznih ukrepov ne moremo se podati na ulice ljubljanske, sem jaz k sebi povabila mojo dobro prijateljico Suzano, ki je strokovnjakinja na področju kaosa. No, in zdaj bomo vprašali, Suzana, kaj tebi pomeni kaos?
Jaz mislim, da kaos je vse, kar ni dobro, ampak če smo že na tem, kaj je dobro in kaj je slabo, kaj pa sploh je dobro in kaj je slabo, kaj je kaos, tako da vsak po mojem si drugače to predstavlja.
Torej je kaos odvisen od reprezentacije, koliko tebi kot strokovnjakinji na področju kaosa, koliko ti pomeni to, da smo si uspeli priboriti Mednarodni dan kaosa?
Ja, odvisno, v bistvu jaz nisem natančno poučena o tem, iz kje to izvira, ampak po mojem zna biti to kakšna Amerika.
Aha, Amerika.
Amerika style,
Ja. No, drage dame in gospodje, upamo, da smo vam razširili obzorja glede tega, kaj kaos sploh je in kaj predstavlja. Tako da bi vas sedaj samo še najlepše pozdravila in vam zaželela, da ostanete zdravi še do konca te zloglasne epidemije in kaosa.
So like we're here talking about like a drag persona and drag character, but like let's not forget that it's not only drag queens. We see you drag kings, you're all out there and this and that. And this leads us to announce our next guest, which is an iconic, freshly new to the scene drag king here in Ljubljana, Slovenia. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to tell us more about yourself? Who are you?
Who am I? Well, as most people, I as well found myself in the world of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yep.
And I was just so inspired, impressed by everything I saw there, all the queens, all the life-giving magic that happened up on that stage. And I wondered, could I be a part of it? Is there like a version of this that I could do? Because I'm perceived as a woman, so should I be dressing up as a woman? And you know, I just want to make it clear, you can. If you put on a wig, some heels, and just be yourself, you can be a drag queen regardless of your gender. However, that wasn't really something that drew me personally, because, you know, me being myself, I'm not a very femme person. At some point later, I realized that, oh, there is a version of this. There are drag kings. I could be one of them.
How long have you been doing drag even?
Not long, like a few months. Like it started with a few Instagram posts that dressed up for Eurovision. Let's be honest, with Eurovision.
We stand!
It's like the gay holiday. It's
It-
like the
it
gay
really-
holiday.
it really is.
Eurovision is the gay
It's
holiday,
like
basically.
it's like pre-Pride, you know.
Yeah,
Yes, it's really that because it's amazing.
In case y'all didn't know, Miss Petra HD deems herself to be like a winner of Eurovision.
Well, I am, and I'm the queen of Eurovision, and Dori Malucci is the king of Eurovision. So, thus,
And
we
fuck
are...
my drag.
Yes.
Later, darling.
And
later.
she is the junior Eurovision.
Currently, right now, I'm working on my looks. I am trying to be a bit more femme, but it's difficult because my usual wardrobe is pretty butch.
Yes.
And you know, when you're packing a pretty size like me, it's difficult to find clothes that fit you. So, you know, gotta work with what you got. So
Your character that you do, like, for example, from what we saw on the couple of your performances in Yugoslavia, it really comes out as this funny, lovable guy.
Well, thank
and where does that come from?
well, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I like being funny. I like making people laugh. Like, specifically, my performances I have experiences in making videos. I did put a few silly videos on YouTube before I started doing drag, and looking back, it kind of was drag, but I didn't realize it at the time.
It's all in there.
Yeah, it's all in
it
there.
was just in
It
there.
emerges naturally over time.
A process. It's a very gradual
Yeah,
process.
to link it to what I know, which is tabletop role-playing games like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
When you make a character and you start a game, you don't come in with your character fully realized.
Yes.
It takes
Yes.
over sessions, it builds over sessions. Like, you come in with a basic idea, and then over the course of the campaign, over the sessions, the blanks get filled in, and this is where your character measures, and it's a similar process here.
Yeah, like you go to one item room, you pick up one item,
Exactly.
and then you defeat the boss, and then you get this random item from the boss.
And the skill tree, you know, you expand your skill tree and you multi-class.
Yeah. What would you say are your inspirations?
It's not like I'm looking up to someone and trying to copy them. It's like, you know, I get an idea and I want to try it out. And
Perfect.
sometimes it
That's-
sticks and sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly.
Particularly joining up with Yugoslavia has been sort of an inspiration, but more in the sense that it makes me want to do something better, you know, to give you something more, to push something better. Basically, to sort of prove myself that, yes,
I did this and I loved it. I did it great. Okay, now let's try this and let's try that.
Yeah.
That's
let's try to make the next thing even better.
Yes.
And I gotta say, darling, you are slaying my whole life.
Oh.
Because the
Sorry.
performance from this motherfucker from the 80s episode is still one of my favorite Yugoslav performances ever.
You are definitely Slovenia's Ganko. Most definitely.
And we love to have you on the scene, and I think drag kings is something that the Balkans in general haven't really tapped into.
I mean the world.
Well, you know,
also,
there
the world.
we
definitely.
have Lukas na naslovne strane, we have Šećerne batice. Šećernog batice, kako se to...
Šećerni batica.
Yeah.
What do you think could be done to represent the drag king artistry more?
I mean, the drag scene in itself hasn't really reached its full potential yet, so it is burgeoning. A drag scene, we need to make more space for the kings among the queens.
Yeah.
Here we have the chance to do it before it, like, if we put it in at the beginning, there's not going to be a problem later on.
Yeah.
If we start including them from the start,
I fully agree. It is...
we won't have to make room for them later on because they will be already included in the space.
Do you maybe have any parting words, any advice for the young people who maybe do want to start doing the art of drag, being drag kings?
Just don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. You're not gonna.
Oh, that's so nice. That's actually so nice and so humbling.
That touched my depression. Thank you so much, Dorian, for coming to hang out with us, talk about your experience.
Of course.
It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure being here with you.
Wanna meet me in the basement of the studio? Please.
Talk to me after the camera's off.
Okay, sure. I think we pretty much covered the do's and don'ts and gave our tips and tricks and this and that.
There's obviously a lot more that we could talk about this topic, but we were given, 17 minutes and we're already filming for 4
I
hours.
feel like you fully looked at your hand and there's absolutely no watch there.
Yeah, there is, it's my fantasy. Live your fantasy to the fullest, and we will see you in the next episode where we will be talking about costumes.
How did this happen?
How did this happen? Maybe
We'll be
no
a
one
special
knows.
guest. You'll see. Make sure to tune in. I am Plastica Dynasty.
I am Petra HD.
And this is Društvo Dih.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, peace.
And my newest character facet is I'm figuring out that I am a grandma, but I feel I'm at peace with that.
She's in her 30s.
I'm at. I fully didn't listen to you right now. I just noticed what you said. Fucking cunt.
With those big ears, really, girl?
Oh! They're quite
They are.
pointy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I shaved them today.
Wow.
Did you file them as well?
Yeah, like the elven queens are really underrepresented and the shit we go through every day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Veš kako pravijo, kolike uši, toliki ponos? No? Okay, let's move on. What's the next question? Aha!